Alright, now Todd has a license, so of course he has to do a Wonder Woman figure. If he has a DC movie license and they got a DC movie coming out, you really don't have a choice. You got to do some Wonder Woman figures. But if you're going to make Wonder Woman figures, a movie figure, it's been done many times in the past. And there's a ton of them out there. I don't even have a fraction of how many of them have been made. Pretty much every toy company in the world has made their version of a movie Wonder Woman figure. So when you're new coming into the game, all you have to do is look at all the competition, and you got to give us something either better or different than we've got before, because if you already have this figure and you walk into the store and you're like, God, I already got like 4 of those at home. Is that one better? Well, I guess that's why I'm doing the video. I know she's the biggest one that I have. And then you have this, the gold version, and I was like, okay, now that's something I can get excited about. I don't have that version of Wonder Woman. I have some that are similar, but I don't have that one. And I really like the gold. I know everybody was like, the gold, the gold, the gold. And so I pulled out gold. Gold and silver seem like a really hard color for action figures to do. I like when they have that like gold plating on them. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it fades, it chips, it just doesn't work out. I think he did a pretty good version of gold, so I'm excited to get that out. And if you're going to do Wonder Woman figures, now I know that this figure hasn't been shown in the movie like this yet, so I can see why you haven't did a toy of it yet. But if you're going to do Wonder Woman figures, there's one figure, hint, hint, that I would really like to see from this movie. Let's check these things out.
It's not the first time I've seen the side of you. I'm through, and now you're walking on such a thin line, and I'm about to lose my nerve when all of this has cost me so much. Now leaving in the dust everything we had, it threw it away, and I have wasted too much love.
Alright, I went ahead and pulled out a few other movie Wonder Woman figures, and then you can let me know in the comments which Wonder Woman figure you think is the best. I don't even have to tell you which one I think is the best. Over here you have the comic book version, not the movie version. When the movie version hit a home run, DC had to run with it, and I don't blame them, so they made a comic book version of the movie one. That's why the costume looks so similar. I pulled her out because she had the coat on, because she was a little bit different than the other one. This, of course, is the McFarlane one. If you want a Wonder Woman figure that's bigger than a Superman figure, then this is definitely the one you want to get, because she is really big. Then you have a $90 action figure. This would be the Mezco version, which $90. You can't really compare a $90 figure with a $20 figure, although, you know, they both actually look pretty good. And then you have the Mafex one over here. This is also an $80 toy. I got it on clearance for $40, so it's not really a thing. I just pulled Superman out for you to see that she's actually taller than Superman, and that does bother me a little bit. If you want to look at the difference between a $20 action figure and a $90 action figure, which isn't really fair, I'll just show you the head sculpts. I actually think this one's pretty good. I think they overdid it on the blush just a little bit on this one. This one also looks good, but then the skin is, it's pretty good. I guess the Mafex one, where they kind of have like that transparent flesh tone, where they kind of look like a night lizard. $90 action figure, $20 action figure. The thing with the $90 action figure, it does come with a real wire rope, and it glows in the dark. I'm not a really big fan of this plastic rope thing. I don't like how it's pre-sculpted. I'm not a fan. I got a ton of other Wonder Woman figures that come with real ropes, which I really prefer. Then you can just give me one. I can put it in her hand. I can put it in her belt. You don't have to give me two. I can pose it however I want. I am a big fan of when they do the real rope. As far as this figure goes, I like it. I like the bright colors. I think they did a pretty good flesh tone on it. The things that I don't like is the articulation. I know, like, it's hard to please people with articulation. Some guys, they can't get enough. Me, just a little bit is enough. I would rather have a female figure looking nice and smooth and clean, and versus chunky with a bunch of articulation. I know that he squeezed a butterfly joint on there, and I think he absolutely killed it, which I'm usually not a fan of a butterfly joint on a female action figure, but this time I am. If you look at, he did the bicep cut on that. I thought that was, I don't really think you needed it. I think it's a little bit cleaner without it. The double jointed elbow with pins once again, I kind of like the single elbow better. The ball that he has on the wrist or this, you get about the same amount of movement. These are both $20 action figures, so I'm going apples to apples here. I actually like this one better than this one. You come down, I love how he does the thigh thing. I say that in every video. I think he kills it there. I'm so glad that he doesn't do the thigh cut. I hate the thigh cut, like right there. I know some guys like it. I personally hate that articulation unless you can completely hide it, like if they have shorts on. And you come down to the knees. This one has the double jointed knees with the pin. This one also has the double jointed knees with no pin. If they can do it, why can't he do it? I don't get it. I just don't. Then on the ankle articulation, this one has the ball. The boot kind of covers it. I'm not a real big fan of that ball. Like, they have about the same amount of articulation. I think that looks cleaner than this, and you get about the same. And then he's showing off with the toe articulation. I'm really glad that he does that. God, he kills it on his plastic and his paint. Like, look at that. Like action figures, that's where they cheap. They cheap out on plastic and paint. And that's definitely where he shines. Just like, you can tell that like he uses expensive paint, like versus some of these other ones that are transparent, and I don't know. He kills it on that. Let's check out this other one. We got this gold armored Wonder Woman. After taking this thing out of the package, I like it even more. The wings on this thing is truly amazing. I'm glad that he didn't add a bunch of articulation on that. I really like how he does it. He puts these little ball pegs on the back so you can still pose it, flap it. There's your movement, and then he doesn't take away from the figure. I know some guys they just cannot get enough articulation on their figure. I'm just not that guy, especially with the female figure. I went ahead and pulled out a few other action figures, gold ones, Wonderwoman ones, just for a comparison. Down there we have the Thanos, just so I could show you how cheap their plastic looks compared to their plastic. It's a really big difference. A few DC collectibles, DC Direct figures. Right here we have a cheetah. Just saying, if you want to do another female figure, movie related, that would be a really good one to put in our collection. Then over here we have some C3POs, just for I could show you like the different versions of gold and how that gold plated works out sometimes and doesn't work out sometimes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the star of the show first off. Let's get her out here. She does come with a flight stand. I like it. Like, you can use it, you can not use it. It's nice to have it in the package. They're actually a pretty good stand. This is the thing that I like about it. Well, this slides in. Can't really get it to slide out, which is probably a good thing. It doesn't plug in, it slides in, so that makes it a lot stronger. Whenever these plug in, they get heavy and they start to sag out. It's nice. It's a nice little plus to the action figure. This is where the figure shines to me. These are the plugs. See how it plugs? So it plugs in, and then you can still turn it, and you can still flap it. That's all I need. That's it. It looks good. So it doesn't take away from anything here. On this thing, a thing that he does that I really like is when he puts this rubber like overlay on them to hide articulation. The figure looks really clean. I love how he does the ab crunch. Really big fan of that. This one also has the butterfly joint on the shoulder, which is completely hidden. Definitely digging that. The double joints on the elbow, I'm having a hard time getting this one to stay in. Maybe I'm not plugging it in all the way. Alright, if it falls out, again, that's on him. If it falls, I don't know. It's either him or me. We'll figure it out if it keeps falling out. I think I got it plugged in pretty, oh, maybe I don't. Alright, that one, I guess it was me, because it's actually in there pretty good. Let's keep it moving. The double jointed elbow on this figure doesn't really bother me because the armor, and the double jointed knee doesn't really bother me because it blends in. It's got armor. If it looks a little clunky, it's fine because of the armor. Then he does the same ball here. Once again, it doesn't bother me on this figure. The jointed toe, nice showing off. The ball on the wrist still kind of gets to me. The figure looks absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and let me show you where he shines. So this, like, Todd really goes heavy on the good quality plastic and the paint. If you take a Marvel Legends, this is their version of gold. You see it how it has that nice cheap marbling effect in the plastic? I hate that. I hate it. It looks crap. They tried to do gold that's nothing like gold. Like, That's supposed to be like a bronze, or they have, if you're not going to go, metal colors are really hard to do when you're going with a bronze, silver, or gold. Like, this is a perfect example of that. They completely failed on that. Then you take this. I pulled out this Aquaman just because I thought that they did a pretty decent job on the gold on this. And the stand falls off. We're good. Oh, well, I'll set them over here. You can look at these two as comparison. I like both of these. I actually like this one a little bit more. And then I pulled out this Wonder Woman because she's very similar to this one. Wonder Woman has like the same costume going with the wings. This is where they completely failed on the gold. That gold just doesn't look good, and they tried to do like a gold sword and just completely failed. And then this is another one. I pulled her out just for the gold. I'm showing you, like, gold is not easy to do. Then these also have like the real rope on there, which I definitely like. And then I pulled out the Egyptian one because I thought the gold was decent on this, but not nearly on this level. And then on these C3POs, like these are the real plated ones. And if you look at this one, you can see like the gold flakes off. This happens, and then you get gold on you. And then your girlfriend acts like you got glitter on it, and you go, don't worry about it. We're during the Rona right now. The strip clubs are closed, and then she can't say anything about it right now. But a few months from now, you got to be careful with something like this. And then all these other ones, you can see, like, I think this used to be a deeper gold. It seems like it faded. This thing turned yellow. That one turned kind of silver. The one with the brown on it, that works pretty good. That's what I was saying, like with the wash. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet because of Rona. Who knows when I'm actually going to get to see another movie. I just pulled those out for some gold comparisons. This is a figure you need in your collection. I highly recommend it. It looks... God, he killed it on that. She's big. Once again, that's kind of like my only complaint. Let's look at the head. That's it. The video's getting long. Thanks for watching.